Hello, it is Tuesday, January 15th, and this is the 6th episode of the 2Close2Call podcast. We have great news for you today. Today's episode is brought to you by our first sponsor, theramking.com. The Custom T-Shirt King. He's a listener of ours, a good friend, and he does the best T-shirts out there in the business. Please visit theramking.com for any T-shirt design. He'll give you a free design, free delivery. It's fast, it's easy, it's quick, and they're exceptional T-shirts. My wife's gotten them for bachelorette parties. We've worn them for bachelor parties. They're for school events. Visit the website and check out anything you need for your T-shirt needs, theramking.com. We got a great episode for you. We recap the divisional round playoffs. We touch on the heartbreaking defeat, Philadelphia Eagles, the tough loss with Alshon Jeffrey dropping the ball for the interception. We also touch on the Rams whooping up on the Cowboys, as well as the Patriots doing what the Patriots do. And Big Red and the Chiefs says, hey, why don't you come to town? I'm hungry. I'm going to have me some Brady. So thanks for listening. Please click subscribe on iTunes. Give us a 5-star review, and come on in.
Coach, you were 5-79 last year. Why the playoff talk?
Well, we made a couple of key trades, and we got the funk.
Oh, well, glory be, the funk's on me, Bob.
Keep that funk alive. Keep that funk alive.
Well, it's 1975, and we'll just be keeping the funk alive.
What's going on out there? This is the 6th episode of the 2Close2Call podcast. I am your co-host, Miho, here with my boy, Pags. Pags, what's going on, man? Why don't you let the listeners know why they're getting this episode here on Tuesday instead of Monday?
You know, Miho, thanks for having me on. Thanks for working with me this week. Out in Tucson, Arizona, home of the Arizona Wildcats. Out here for work for the whole week, and we had to get our podcast in because we had a pretty crazy weekend with the NFL and everything, so we wanted to get this to you. We apologize for it being a day late, but we're grinding, we're working with it, and we had to get the 6th podcast out there.
How was the day of travel after that Eagles game yesterday?
It would have been a hell of a lot better if the Eagles had won, but wake up, 3 a.m., got to drive to Philly, it's freezing out. And Philly got hammered with snow, which I had no idea because we got a light dusting.
Yeah, we got a couple inches down here.
The parking is a nightmare. So I'm trying to find a parking spot, get there, finally get to my flight at 6:15. And me and you had spoken about, hey, you have a layover. Yeah, well, for some reason, the people with the planes decided not to de-ice the wings until we were on the runway waiting to take off. The guy comes on and he's like, hey, there may be some ice that we didn't see, so we're going to have them do this again. And I'm
there's that invisible ice out there that we're hearing things about. We're going to double check to make sure it's not there.
And don't get me wrong, I appreciate them making sure they take every precaution because it's a 6-hour flight to Phoenix. We're going to be in the air for a while, so I appreciate them doing it all, but man, there's nothing worse than sitting on the runway when you're already crammed in a full packed plane.
Dude, and you can't even take a piss.
Oh, I know. And I had the window seat, and I had freaking a brush burn on the side of my head from shaving my head. I couldn't rest my head. Every time I tried to rest my head on the window, I just had excruciating pain.
Oh, the price of losing your hair, man. Maybe you shouldn't be so stressed all the time.
Oh, man, dude, I know. And all I'm running through my head is that Alshon Jeffrey non-catch.
How about it? How the hell do we even get there? Though I don't even think we deserve to have a chance in that game.
You know, you had said this to me before. 7, 8 out of 10 times the Saints beat us. And this was one of those times where we actually had a shot. Man, did they come out firing in that first half. I was so excited. And then at halftime, it gets to 14-10, and I look at my dad, and I'm like, hey, if you told me we were going to be up 14-10 at halftime, I would have signed up for that every single time. Considering a 48-7 beatdown earlier in the year.
Right, dude. So I rewatched the highlights, and the first play of the game, that go route, dude, the guy for the Saints is open, and Breeze just makes a horrible pass, and LeBlanc makes a heck of a play. Go down and score. Jordan Matthews shows up. We stop them again, get the ball back. Foles goes right down. QB sneaks it in. I literally look at the clock, dude. There's 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and we have scored every one of our points for the game.
I could be wrong, but I don't think we even had a third down.
I read a tweet that said before the last drive, after the missed field goal, the Eagles did not have a drive longer than 18 yards, at least in the second half.
Well, there you go. that pretty much sums up the second half of the game.
It was literally a Saints guy, and he goes, for all you people saying the Eagles would have scored there at the end, you're out of your minds because their longest drive up until that point was 18 yards. For you to think they were go down and score, you're crazy. And I'm like, dude, they were going to fucking score if Jeffrey caught that ball.
Did it not feel like the magic came swooping right back into our hearts when he misses the field goal? Michael Bennett makes that crazy play, make the field goal a little bit tougher. He pushes it right. Foles hits Ertz. Like, we're moving.
What'd you think about running the play right before the 2-minute warning? Because there's a lot of people who are not happy about that.
So I got into a spat with my father. Was in the mindset, give Drew Brees the least amount of time possible when he gets the ball back if we're going to score. And
if any time at all, right?
But the play was there. That was a perfect play. That was an 8-yard gain going into the 2-minute warning, 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1. I'm not going to hate on the play call. It's not like they rushed it and ran a shitty play. They ran a good play.
Yeah, but they didn't have to.
I understand that.
Why wouldn't they just kind of regroup, go with the flow?
No, I get that, but you didn't need to regroup. You just hit Ertz for a long gain. You get another play. You guys, you're feeling yourself. I agree if it was like a sack or a 2-yard loss on a run or something like that, but you're moving the ball down the field. You might as well get another play. And hindsight's always 20/20. So, I mean, I understand why everyone's pissed off about it. I do, but I just can't fault them for it because that was a good play.
Oh, man. It's amazing we were there in the first place with all those injuries. Brandon Brooks going down, tears his Achilles. I know Wisniewski played okay, but when Brooks went out, man, the entire offensive focus shifted, and I feel like they struggled to run the ball after that.
I think he is one of the most underrated players on the Eagles. Would you agree with that?
Maybe even in the NFL, man. That guy's been a stud for years now, and hopefully this Achilles doesn't drag into next year, but I think it's going to be one of those where all of a sudden Wisniewski may be on the team again, even though we were going to trade him because we don't have any depth.
O-line is a concern because you see Peters probably not coming back. Kelsey's considering retirement. It's like, oh, my gosh, what happened to that O-line really gelled at the end of the year. And they really, on that streak they went on, that O-line was playing amazing. They were shutting down Clowney, Watt, Khalil Mack, Donald.
Speaking of Khalil Mack, Jason Peters is probably the most frustrating player on the Eagles because a week ago he literally shut down Khalil Mack. I mean, they gave up 1 sack, and it was on the first drive of the game, and then nothing after that. That makes you rethink, okay, like re-sign him, let him play 10 games because in the playoffs he's going to dominate the best player in the league. Well, then the next week comes, and all of a sudden he's playing half the snaps again because his back's banged up, and it's like, fuck, this is exactly why you can't bring this guy back. So I flip-flopped literally 5-6 times on him this year on whether or not he should return because Vaitai is not the answer. So, and left tackles don't grow on trees. An average Jason Peters is better than 75% of the tackles in the league.
Yeah, I think he needs to consider retirement. I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he's going to have his name up in the rafters as one of the greatest Eagles of all time. He deserves it. He's been an amazing, amazing cornerstone of this Philadelphia offense. But you're right, it is frustrating because now that I'm saying this, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, but he has those games where he dominates.
Yeah, Khalil Mack, the best in the league on the road.
It's unbelievable.
But Foles turned back into a pumpkin, turned human after that interception to Ertz, which was underthrown on the third drive as we were making it to midfield. Later in the game, dude, his mechanics were all over the place, man. He was just throwing up prayers. He threw up the one to Golden Tate where they were hoping for the interference, but he was open behind him. The one, I guess he had to rush to Aguilar probably because of the rush, if I'm remembering correctly, but Aguilar didn't turn around in time. That was another big play that was there. On the last drive of the game, he had Matthews on the out route that he just threw a prayer up. I mean, they eventually got the yards anyway, but he was not Big Dick Nick in any means on Sunday. And in order to beat Drew Brees at home in the playoffs, you're not going to do it with an average Nick Foles.
Let me ask you this. After the game, did any sort of relief come across you where you're like, okay, can we put this Foles thing to rest? Wentz is going to get healthy. He's our quarterback of the future. Let's move on from this and just build around Carson.
So let me answer that by saying I'm taking full credit for the Nick Foles run of the past year for this reason. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. I can't wait to hear this.
January 13th, 2018, my birthday. Nick
Correct.
Foles against the Atlanta Falcons starts his run in the playoffs. January 13th, 2019, Nick Foles' run ends in New Orleans. Exactly 365 days later, on my birthday, yet again.
There it is.
Can't argue with the facts,
logic.
man.
Yeah, can't argue with that logic, man.
So the birthday wish came true. I'm taking responsibility for the last 365. So I'm sorry, Nick, but wherever you go from here, you're going to turn back into the St. Louis Rams, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback because, like liar, liar, it's only good for a year.
Hey, at least the Cowboys lost, right?
Yeah, we were alive one day longer than the Cowboys, baby. That's the silver lining.
Oh, and I love trolling Cowboys fans because they get so bent out of shape about it when obviously we're just being facetious and just trying to rile them up. And they just take it so personally. Like, we beat you twice this year. We won the NFC East. It's like, okay, I was just messing around. Obviously, I know we lost in the same time frame. We're just getting under your skin, you freaking assholes.
I will tell you, though, how they lost, I did not see coming. I knew the Rams' defensive line was strong, but I thought Dallas's defense would travel, and that Rams' offensive line just dominated the entire night.
Bro, where the hell did C.J. Anderson come from?
Yo, he's a fat ass, too, but he was trucking people.
Hell.
I was
Little
like,
side
holy
note.
shit. What is this, his third team? Look at this fucking pinball rolling around.
Side note, does it annoy you at all that the Rams helmets don't match their jerseys?
Dude, I got a text from my dad 30 seconds into the game that said, go Rams, but can we talk about how their fucking helmets don't match their uniforms, please?
Who the hell is in charge of that thought that was okay?
I was like, is this on purpose? Was this a mistake? Like, what is happening here? But I'm totally with you on that. They did not fucking match at all.
And it's pretty amazing that the Cowboys defense dominated a Seahawks rushing defense that was tops in the league. It's just night and day. The Rams just honed them.
And the saying is that defense travels, right?
Right. And now the top defenses are all out. The Ravens, the Bears, the Texans, the Cowboys. It's all offense in the final four games.
I know this is jumping ahead a little bit, but with all the final four games, it is also the home bye teams. So when Howie Roseman a few years ago said that we're not trying to go 10-6, 9-7 and just get there, this is the exact reason he's talking about, because you could see the Eagles were playing their third road game in 3 weeks, man, giving up 12-minute drives. They were wearing down. The Chargers on the road in New England just didn't have it. Dallas goes across the country. You think they're going to be okay, and they don't show up. It's tough to win on the road in the NFL, man, especially in the playoffs.
And I think last year the only wild card team to make it was the Jaguars. Eagles and Vikings were the 1 and 2, and the Patriots were the 1 seed. So this is 2 years in a row now that it's looking like that.
Yeah, they were 1 out of 4 and 0 out of 4, right? So you need that bye if you really want to win the Lombardi.
Yeah, it's looking like that.
So.
And it is a nice little sense of relief that Dallas is 1 win and then they're done.
They have a lot of questions coming off this offseason, too, just like the Eagles. They got to pay a lot of people. Dak's going to want his money. Zeke's going to want his money. Tyron Smith at left tackle's up. DeMarcus Lawrence, the D tackle, played on the franchise tag. He's not going to want to do that again. They got Jalen Smith at linebacker in that same draft class. Amari Cooper is going to want some money. So it's going to be a fascinating offseason in the NFC East, man. We're going to have a lot to talk about.
And the funny thing is Dak did just enough to earn some money. I don't know if
you got to pay him.
Yeah.
He's won the NFC East 2 out of 3 years. I mean, you can't argue with the results.
It's just he seems to come up short when it matters. A little issue I had in the Rams-Cowboys game, Rams are up 8 points. Rams get the ball on the 1 yard line, 4th and 1. Kick a field goal. It's a 2-score game with the Cowboys still needing a 2-point conversion. Sean McVay decides, I'm just going to fucking go for it. And if they have to drive 99 yards to tie the game and get a 2-point conversion, so be it. I had a tough time. I mean, it worked, but I had a tough time realizing his thought process.
Well, you just talked yourself into it, exactly. He's like, hey, my defense has been locked in all night. If they go 99 yards and get a 2-point conversion and, under 10 minutes, whatever it was, under 5 minutes, I forget exactly, but so be it. And that's the Dougie P effect after last year, man. It's the same reason why he ran the play right before the 2-minute warning. It's the NFL now. You're going to be aggressive. I forget the week before or if it was that exact game, Dallas went for it on their own 45 on 4th and 1. Like, people are just playing the percentages now because they're realizing you have to score 30 points to win this game. Like, again, the Eagles scored 16 and 14 points in the playoffs. Like, do you really think you're going to win games scoring in the teens?
Not 2 weeks in a row.
Exactly. So you gotta have the offense. You gotta continue to push the threshold. You gotta score. And that's exactly what happened in the NFC. And the NFC Championship is going to be all offense. I don't know what the over-under is. The early line's 3.5 for the Saints, I believe. I think that one's going to be a good one, and it's going to be up and down the field.
To your point about the Dougie P effect, I mean, Sean Payton ran that fake punt on their own end of the field.
And Hill threw a touchdown pass that got called back. That was kind of a trick play, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like, there were a couple of things, man. And Dougie early on ran the reverse to Aguilar, a couple of screens. And then when they ran out of the flow, they were passive, man, and it didn't work.
So we touched on it a little bit. What did you think? I mean, the AFC the Patriots and the Chiefs kind of put their nuts on the table and were like, yeah, we're the two best teams. Chargers and Colts kind of just withered away in both games. I mean, neither game was competitive at all.
Well, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, right? Like, how dare you think that we're fading? Still here. # still here.
Man, it really is unbelievable because the league tries to be a parity league where everybody has a chance. And for them, what is it, 8 AFC championships in a row now? It's unbelievable what they have done.
Right? So I want to get your thoughts on, and you had texted me about this earlier, just trying to figure out what the hell they were thinking. So I want to find out if you had any time to think about it. But obviously the Chargers going against the Ravens last week, they deployed the 7 defensive back defense, which worked against Lamar Jackson. What in their right minds thought that the same game plan against Lamar Jackson would work against Tom Brady?
I still have no idea.
Right?
Honestly.
Like, what are you thinking? I mean, I get it works against the rookie who can't fucking throw, but the best guy of all time, and you're going to run the same thing you put on film a week ago and expect not to get your ass kicked? That's got nothing to do with Phillip Rivers.
Dude, James White had 15 catches.
Like 0 rushes or, 0 yards or something. It was crazy.
Unbelievable. I really don't know what the Chargers were thinking. And I don't know if they thought Bosa and Ingram could get home, but they weren't getting anywhere near him. He had 5 seconds, boom, hit his open receiver, and it was just like an onslaught. Like they just kept coming. It was just like, oh my gosh.
Tony Romo said multiple times, listen, I know they don't want to play man-to-man and really are stronger in zone, but you have to play man-to-man against Tom Brady to have any chance. And he said it in the second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter, and there was just no adjustment made.
The only way that works is if you get home, and they weren't. They didn't change anything.
But now they do have to go on the road. See our good buddy Big Red, who they've had success with in the past. And, dude, Mahomes, is he the future of the NFL? Is he the real fucking deal? Because he sure looked it, man.
You'd think maybe people are going to figure him out, but it seems like every time they figure something out about him, he does something else. He is a very impressive player. And I just love how they always reference him as a baseball player. Every time he throws the ball, it looks like he's trying to throw it to first on a line hopper. It's just like, that's always their comparison. Like, well, he played baseball, so that's why he could make this throw.
Well, they did an interview with him before the game, and I think it was Peter King was asking about some of the highlights and how he can do all the arm angles and does he think baseball was relevant in that? And he literally said, Yes, because what I'm doing is I'm taking a ground ball in the hole, and I either got to turn two to second or I got to go to first. Like, I've had to throw from every arm angle my entire life, so a football is no different, which is amazing because he's not the tallest guy in the world, but that's why he never gets anything batted down because he just throws around motherfuckers.
And he's so athletic. If he extends the play, there's a very good chance Tyreek Hill's going to be open because that motherfucker is so fast.
Dude, that game was over in 5 minutes. Did you see the beginning of it?
Yeah, it was over.
The Colts ran the ball twice, and then on 3rd and 5, literally Eric Ebron was wide open for the first down, and Luck like spikes it at his ankles because of the snow and the weather. And I'm like, all right, this is going to be an ugly game. So they punt the ball, they go down to the Chiefs, and fucking Mahomes is like, yo, I got this. We're an outdoor team at home, slinging it all over the place. And I was like, the Colts are in trouble.
This game's over.
Yeah.
Yep. And apparently nobody should listen to any of my picks. So if anybody ever listens to what I'm going to pick, just go the opposite.
So next year, and I guess in March Madness, we're going to keep track of our picks for sure to see how we do. So, I mean, both of us had positive records in the bowl games. So over time, we tend to do well. But yes, in the moment there, the Colts on the road was not a good pick, Bags.
Small sample size, people. Give me time. Hey, I got the Eagles one right.
That's it. Exactly. That's right. They covered. I was wrong per se. I had the Saints winning, but the Eagles covered because of that field goal.
Yeah.
Chiefs Patriots next week in Arrowhead. You think Tom just kind of goes in and does what he does? I know we're going to get into it more later in the week, but just kind of first initial thought. That line is 3 at home for the Chiefs. So basically a toss-up, standard home team 3. First inkling, what are you thinking?
Well, the weather's going to be shitty again from what they're saying. But Tom has experience in that all the time in Foxborough. I really leaning Patriots just because that's what they do. And I know Mahomes is this guy, and I could have a completely different opinion about him if he goes and beats New England in the AFC Championship game. But I feel like it's tough not to go Patriots.
If you were going against the Patriots last round, you can't go against them this round.
Exactly. The other game's going to be electric as well. I mean, you have two of probably the most crazy offenses, crazy offensive-minded coaches coming into a game, and I don't remember how it was close. I remember Goff having trouble with the noise at the end, trying to lead either winning or I think it was a 7-point game to tie the game. That's definitely going to have an issue. They're going to have issues with that. And, I mean, they're going to have to see how the Eagles handled it in the beginning. If the Rams get on them, I think they can keep it going. But I think the Dome and Drew Brees, I think I'm leaning Saints as of now as well for that game.
I like it. And good transition, speaking of the offense, because for this Friday's podcast, we're actually getting an offensive-minded coach on the podcast. You want to tell them a little bit more about our guest or who it is?
Yeah, so real exciting. We're going to get DJ Mangus, one of my best friends from college. He, the second youngest, I believe, offensive coordinator at his time in Division I football. He took over at William & Mary, where we played together as the offensive coordinator for the past 2 years. Now he's going to give us some insight on the whole coaching aspect of college football, and he just had an exciting, fun time out in, I think they were in San Antonio for the coaching convention. So he's going to share some funny stories with that and just how competitive this college football thing is and how many college coaches are out there and how little spots are left. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing some behind the scenes from those conventions because I do enjoy following the Twitter and all the interviews for all the openings and communications. It's like the winter meetings in baseball. So definitely tune in Friday for that interview. But thanks for listening to our football talk. We're going to transition into what has become our favorite part of the show, and that is sharing our favorite number 6s athletes of all time, since this is episode 6. Anybody jump out on you, Pags, when you think of your favorite number 6?
You know, the number 6 is pretty easy for me. Never really got to see the guy play, but he's so symbolic with Philadelphia and the NBA. I mean, he helped verge the ABA and the NBA together, and I'd have to go with Dr. J. Love everything about Dr. J, and he's still such a big part of the Sixers community, and he's always at the games. He's always a role model to Embiid, even when Iverson was playing. I love the afro. I love the dip underneath the backboard, lay up on the other side.
Timeless highlight, right?
The choking of Larry Bird.
Yeah, there you go.
Neither of them will talk about it. It's just, he's the best, man.
Oh,
how about you?
I love it.
Think of anybody good?
I love it. So I was thinking basketball, right? LeBron James in Miami, we talked about him. But, me being a baseball guy, I'm actually going heyday Ryan Howard. 2006 from 2011, Ryan Howard.
Big piece.
The big piece, baby. So within those 6 years, he literally finished in the top 5 in MVP voting. 4 years, averaged over 30 home runs and 100 RBIs, or had over 30 home runs and 100 RBIs in every year, with his MVP year of 58 and 149. So when he was rolling those 5 years, the Phillies were rolling all through high school and college, and those are some of the best times in my life. And the parade that we went to, you remember the guy fucking climbing on the Citizens Bank pole and everybody being like, yeah, and then he'd like climb down, boo, and they go back up, yeah, and throwing fucking beers at him, man. Ryan Howard's brought a lot of good memories.
Dude, a 2-liter bottle of soda just gets chucked at the guy. I'm like, this guy's going to die. Going up on the thing. I think that was even wilder because that was the first championship in so long. I mean, the Eagles parade was amazing, and we had been waiting for that. But that Phillies parade, man, that just brought the whole city together. It was insane.
Right, and hopefully the next Phillies parade will be courtesy of Bryce Harper after they sign him this week after meeting with them. So stay tuned for that pod, listeners. Right, we're gonna dive into that emergency pod whenever it happens outside of the football one we'll be bringing to you. So that'll be interesting news in the Machado Harper front coming up.
It's an exciting time to be in Philadelphia. The Eagles have given us 2 amazing runs, 2 unforgettable runs, and it's sad that it ended. Sixers are exciting, Flyers are rebuilding, and the Phillies seem to have something coming. Remember those years a couple years ago where it was just abysmal? There was nothing to look at.
We're coming, baby. We're coming for you, Boston.
Imagine if we started the podcast then. We were like, okay, so what the fuck are we talking about? The Flyers are the wild card team.
0
they get
listeners
in the first round. Oh, that would have been brutal.
So, but anyway, that's our show today, listeners. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. I know we're out there on iTunes, the 2Close2Call cast. That's the number 2 both times. We appreciate you guys listening. Please subscribe. Give us a 5-star review. Write a comment. We're going to respond to everything. Let us know why the Eagles shouldn't have run a play before the 2-minute warning. We want to hear your rebuttal. We'll share those. We'll discuss it even more if that's what you guys want to talk about. But please share with your friends. Get us out there. Episode 5's up to 50 views on iTunes, so we love each and every one of you, and we appreciate it. Keep clicking it. Keep sharing it. And we're going to keep trying to bring you guys some good content, and we're definitely open to feedback on how to improve.
Hey, and I saw today, I got an email, over 160 views on our total podcast in the past 7 days.
Let's go, baby.
Awesome. Pretty awesome, guys. We can't do it without you guys, and we appreciate everything you guys do for us.
So we love you out there. Thanks for listening again, and we'll talk to you guys on Friday.
Later, guys.
Peace.